The Foreign Exchange Dealing Room on the 21st floor of the Bank of New Zealand head office. This is where hundreds of millions of dollars go out of New Zealand and come in every day. A very sizable chunk of the BNZ's annual profit is made here in this room. These foreign exchange dealers spend their working days doing a high-pressure juggling act, balancing New Zealand dollar deals with Swiss francs, Japanese yen, sterling and Deutschmarks. One dealer can make or lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in a couple of minutes. It takes a fast mind, flair and guts to be a successful foreign exchange dealer. Even then, things can go wrong.
The type of business we do with our customer base is a lot of very small transactions, and over a period of time or over the days they build up, and sometimes this information doesn't get to us until 3-4 days later. So a lot of the transactions are done at yesterday's rates.
Our branches complete just normal MICA entries, and they're submitted through the data bank clearing system. They arrive in Wellington, from where they are resubmitted to Vivian Street and are punched, and our foreign accounts are updated.
So how long does that take?
It takes about 4 days between the time that the transaction's undertaken with the customer and, as I said, the accounts themselves are updated.
As far as the customer base goes, the small transactions, over-the-counter business done in the branches, the ideal system is the one we're going to implement, which will allow us to provide up-to-date rates for the customers. The branches will be able to access those rates, deal off those rates, and provide us with all the information, all the deals as they're done, and they will be entered into our system, and we'll have up-to-date positions on an ongoing basis during the day.
And that is where Sprint comes in. Sprint, the system for processing international transactions, will give the Bank of New Zealand the country's first online foreign exchange system, instant access to overseas transactions, and not just for the dealers in the foreign exchange dealing room, but to international sections out in the BNZ bank branches.
International is one of the major profit areas of the Bank of New Zealand. It's probably our biggest and most volatile market in terms of dollar turnover, and as such we need to be aware of what our position is day by day, virtually hour by hour. Sprint will give the bank the ability to calculate its own requirements against what a market is doing offshore on the basis of the transactions it knows are being captured throughout the country online. Information, up-to-date information, is the most important factor in foreign exchange in the current New Zealand market.
Sprint will introduce technology into our international departments, whereas previously, apart from exchange rate inquiries, which they've had for approximately 4 years, and the SWIFT messages printing out in the branches, they've operated virtually a manual, paper-based clerical system. Sprint will put a terminal in the branch so that they can undertake their work using the terminal network data bank.
What it's actually meant to do is to take the input for foreign exchange transactions as input by the branches of the Bank of New Zealand, take the information to a central core, which is held on the computers at Data Bank, and then from there the information will be sorted and accounting entries generated, passed to the BNZ for processing on their foreign exchange system, which is Capity, and for sending off entries to CIF.
Can you describe all those various systems that make up Sprint?
Well, Sprint itself is a system on its own, and it uses the rate system, which has also been developed by funds, which is now in operation, and from that it will take the rates for the calculation of, or conversion of foreign amounts to New Zealand dollar amounts and vice versa. And it will also feed information down to Capity, which is a foreign accounting system package which the BNZ uses. Capity will do all their foreign accounting, and on Databank itself we have the CIF, which processes all the New Zealand dollar entries for the day for all the banks in New Zealand. SWIFT is again another separate system which will be providing information into Sprint. Eventually we hope to have direct input from SWIFT straight into Sprint, and again the entries will be processed by Sprint and sent to Capity and CIF. Also SWIFT statements will go directly to the BNZ for direct input into the Krona system, which is a reconciliation system to reconcile the foreign bank statements. the other information coming from Capity. A number of reports will be generated out of Sprint, as per the bank's requirement, about 40 reports, I believe, and other reports will be generated by Capity.
Sprint is a software program of enormous complexity. Tens of thousands of lines of code painstakingly devised and written by the analysts and programmers of the Funds Application Department on the 21st floor of the Williams Building at Databank's head office. One of the remarkable things about the development of Sprint is the teamwork that went into it.
The Bank of New Zealand and Databank got together some 3 years ago and formed a joint team. Initially, Databank supplied analysts to the bank. Those analysts worked with BNZ analysts, just looking at what the bank does now, what the bank wanted to do. We came up with user requirements, and from those user requirements there was an original system definition provided, which was agreed to by the BNZ. Subsequent to that, the BNZ analysts moved locations and worked on Databank premises with the Databank analysts, and together a system was specified and is subsequently currently being programmed and put into production.
It's been a complete cooperation between the Bank of New Zealand and Databank, and without that cooperation we wouldn't be in the position we are today with this particular system.
Okay, so where are you with Sprint now?
We're ready. We've got the software there, we've got the documentation there, we've got the users trained within the BNZ head office. We're now awaiting the system going out to the BNZ branch network.
Well, at this stage, implementation date for Sprint is going to be the 1st of April, and we're going to release it on a live basis to the branches on the 1st of July. This will give 3 months for the branch staff to train in the training mode of the system. The system actually comprises 2 separate modules within the one system, a live production system and a training system. And in the training system, everything is simulated that the production system provides, with the exception that no entries are electronically passed and no data is accumulated. So the branch staff can actually operate in this training mode as they will do from the 1st of July in the live environment.
Make as many mistakes as they like and it doesn't really matter.
Well, the more they make, the better. I mean, it's obviously they're going to take time to come to grips with the system. They're going to need this amount of time because the system of online capture of transactions with keyboards, with screens, etc. is completely different from anything they've used before. Previous terminals that they have used really have been more akin to calculators than actual terminals. So it'll give them time to come to grips with the system, and it'll also give the system time to come to grips with being operated in a live environment. This is the first major online system to affect the total branch network. All transactions for international business will be put through in the Sprint system from the 1st of July. Obviously, once you go online, uptime becomes a very important factor. If the system is not up, you're unable to put transactions through.
How confident are you?
I remain confident. I can't deny that there have been some problems with the tandem system, but in something as large and as different to what we've done before, such things are inevitable, such problems are inevitable. The Sprint network is the system that we've put in place throughout the BNZ branches to allow these branches to access the Sprint system that's being developed by Funds Applications. It comprises 4,700 hardware, 4,700 Model 3 controllers in all of the Sprint designated branches, and its input-output devices are the 4704 Model 3s, which are 12-inch screens that handle the full screen data. We will have it singing sweetly, I believe, well before the 1st of July.
I think the spirit of friendliness and cooperation that exists between Derek Gott's team and ourselves is absolutely tremendous. We really could be working for the same company.
It's excellent. As far as I'm concerned, it's the only way to develop a system with the bank and Databank working hand in hand and sharing people.
ready. It's ready for that BNZ branch network to use.